Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now let's jump straight into today's exciting update. Beyond the Gates spoilers promise a dramatic and emotionally charged Monday, July 13th, as tensions rise across Fairmont, Crest, and one terrifying medical emergency threatens to change everything. Bill Hamilton will suddenly find himself rushed to the hospital, leaving those closest to him deeply concerned as his condition takes a frightening turn. At the same time, Catherine "Cat" Richardson's increasingly impulsive and erratic behavior will become impossible for her loved ones to ignore, especially as questions continue to surround the choices she has been making lately. What begins as another day filled with personal disagreements and complicated relationships could quickly spiral into something far more serious, with buried guilt, unresolved tension, and dangerous secrets lurking beneath the surface. From Kat's growing conflict with the people closest to her to Bill's sudden collapse, Monday's episode appears ready to deliver one dramatic moment after another. And as these stories begin to collide, the emotional pressure surrounding several characters may finally become too much to contain. The tension begins with Chelsea Hamilton, who will present an idea to her cousin, best friend, and business partner that immediately rubs Kat the wrong way. Exactly what Chelsea proposes remains unclear, but the possibilities could touch some of the most sensitive areas of Kat's life right now. Perhaps the disagreement will involve their living arrangement, or maybe Chelsea's idea will concern the future of their Chelsea Cat brand and the business they have worked so hard to build together. Whatever the subject may be, Kat clearly will not respond well, and the two women are headed toward another clash. Their relationship has survived its fair share of disagreements in the past, and somehow they have always managed to mend fences after emotions cooled. Still, this latest conflict arrives at a particularly unstable moment for Kat, making it especially interesting to see whether their bond will once again be strong enough to survive the tension. As Kat's frustrations continue to build, Nicole Dupree will find herself increasingly worried about her daughter and the real motivation behind her sudden decision to buy a condo. Fans know that Kat acted almost entirely on impulse this past week when she purchased a place for herself and Tomas Navarro to live in together. The decision happened with astonishing speed, as Kat secured the condo within a matter of hours, seemingly convinced that Tomas would be thrilled by the idea of taking such a major step forward in their relationship. In Kat's mind, the condo may have represented a fresh beginning, a shared future, and perhaps even a way to prove just how deeply committed she was to the man she loved. But instead of receiving the joyful reaction she had imagined, Kat was met with hesitation and rejection. Tomas simply could not embrace the arrangement in the way she had hoped, turning what should have been an exciting romantic milestone into another complicated emotional setback. For Tomas, the problem was not necessarily the idea of spending more time with Kat, but the uncomfortable reality that the condo belonged entirely to her rather than to both of them. Being old-fashioned in his beliefs, Tomas did not want anyone looking at their relationship and assuming that he was with Kat because of her money. His pride and desire to stand on his own made it difficult for him to accept a home that Kat had purchased without them truly making the decision together. Eventually, he agreed that he could spend time at the condo and pay his own way while he was there, but he stopped short of officially moving in. It was a compromise, but certainly not the romantic outcome Kat had imagined when she rushed into buying the property. Beneath the surface, that rejection may have left Kat with even more emotional uncertainty, especially after everything that has already happened between her and Thomas. Nicole, however, may understand her daughter's motivations more clearly than Kat is willing to admit. She will begin to suspect that Kat's sudden leap into buying a condo with Tomas was driven by guilt rather than simple excitement about their future. After all, Kat previously turned down Tomas's marriage proposal, and that decision may still be weighing heavily on her heart. Nicole could believe that the condo was Kat's attempt to compensate for saying no, as though offering Tomas a home and a life together might somehow soften the pain of rejecting the commitment he originally wanted. From Nicole's perspective, Kat may be moving too quickly because she is trying to silence her own guilt rather than making a calm and thoughtful decision about what she truly wants. It is difficult to argue that Nicole's concerns are entirely misplaced, especially considering just how impulsively Kat purchased the property. The real question is whether Kat will be willing to look honestly at herself and recognize the same truth, or whether Nicole's concern will only make her feel more defensive. Meanwhile, another complicated relationship will demand attention as Danny Dupree and Andre Richardson attempt to finally get on the same page. Andre has been deeply worried about Danny ever since the devastating tornado, believing that she is struggling with the emotional aftermath and suffering from PTSD. From his perspective, Danny's behavior makes sense as the response of someone who has survived something terrifying and is still trying to process the trauma. His concern appears genuine, and he wants to understand what she is going through, even as the emotional distance between them becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. But Andre is missing one crucial piece of the puzzle, a secret that changes the meaning behind everything he thinks he is seeing. Danny's torment is not simply about the tornado because she is carrying the crushing weight of guilt after cheating on Andre with Bill. That secret casts a dark shadow over every interaction between Danny and Andre, because while he worries about her emotional well-being, she knows the truth is far more complicated. Andre may believe he is trying to help the woman he loves recover from trauma, unaware that part of the pain consuming her comes from a betrayal that could devastate their relationship if it is exposed. Danny is trapped between the guilt of what she has done and the fear of what could happen if Andre learns the truth. Every concerned question from him could make the secret feel heavier, and every attempt to comfort her may only deepen the emotional conflict inside her. As they try to find common ground, the audience will know something Andre does not, creating a painful tension beneath what might otherwise appear to be a simple relationship struggle. And with Bill about to face a terrifying crisis of his own, Danny's connection to him could become even more emotionally complicated. The biggest shock of Monday's episode, however, will come when Bill Hamilton is rushed to the hospital. It appears that Hayley Hamilton's sinister poisoning scheme may finally have achieved exactly what she intended, as Bill's health takes a frightening turn. The warning signs became increasingly alarming during Dr. Madison Montgomery's deposition on the Friday, July 10th episode, when the situation began to shift from suspicious to genuinely terrifying. Something was clearly wrong, and now the consequences may finally explode into full view. On Monday, Bill could suddenly collapse, creating a frantic emergency that sends him straight to the hospital. In a matter of moments, whatever tensions and secrets surrounded him could be overshadowed by one urgent question: just how much damage has Hayley's poison already done? Bill's hospitalization could send shockwaves through everyone connected to him, especially as the truth behind his mysterious condition remains hidden. While loved ones may fear that he has suffered a sudden medical crisis, viewers know that something far more sinister has been unfolding behind the scenes. Hayley's poison scheme has been quietly pushing Bill toward danger, and if his collapse is indeed the result of her actions, then the stakes have now reached a terrifying new level. A plan that may once have existed in secrecy has potentially become a life-or-death emergency, and every moment Bill spends in the hospital could bring new questions about what caused his condition. The possibility of doctors discovering something unusual could threaten to expose the scheme, while Bill's worsening health may force those around him to confront just how serious the situation has become. And for Danny, who is already drowning in guilt over cheating on Andre with Bill, news of Bill's medical emergency could add yet another devastating layer to the emotional storm surrounding her. With Kat clashing with Chelsea, Nicole questioning the true reasons behind her daughter's impulsive condo purchase, and Danny struggling beneath the weight of a secret Andre does not yet understand, Monday's episode is already packed with emotional conflict, but Bill's sudden medical emergency threatens to overshadow everything, transforming an already tense day into something genuinely frightening. Relationships will be tested, uncomfortable truths will hover dangerously close to the surface, and several characters may find themselves forced to confront emotions they have been desperately trying to avoid. Kat must face questions about whether guilt is driving her future with Thomas. Danny must continue hiding the betrayal that Andre has completely misread, and Bill may now be paying the terrifying price of Hayley's poisoning scheme. Beyond the Gates, spoilers confirm that the Monday, July 13th episode will be filled with dramatic moments, heated encounters, and the kind of unpredictable, campy chaos that can change everything in an instant. With so many secrets, conflicts, and dangerous consequences converging at once, fans will not want to miss a single moment of what promises to be an explosive episode. As the fallout from Bill's medical emergency begins to spread, the atmosphere around Fairmont Crest could become heavier with every passing moment. Those closest to Bill may arrive at the hospital desperate for answers, while doctors work to determine exactly what caused his sudden and frightening collapse. To everyone else, this may appear to be an unexpected health crisis, but the audience knows there is a far darker possibility hiding beneath the surface. Hayley's poisoning scheme has been moving quietly in the background, and if her plan is truly responsible for Bill's condition, then she may now be forced to watch the consequences of her actions unfold in real time. The question is no longer whether Bill is becoming sick, but whether his condition has reached the point where his life could genuinely be in danger. And with medical professionals now examining him closely, Hayley may have reason to fear that the truth could eventually be discovered. For Danny, the news of Bill being rushed to the hospital could strike with a force she is completely unprepared to handle. She is already struggling beneath the crushing guilt of having cheated on Andre with Bill, and now the possibility that something terrible could happen to Bill may intensify every emotion she has been trying to suppress. Andre, still believing that Danny's distress is connected to the trauma of the tornado, may continue trying to comfort her without realizing that another man is at the center of the turmoil consuming her. That misunderstanding creates an almost unbearable emotional tension, because the more compassion Andre shows, the more difficult it may become for Danny to live with what she has done. She may want to rush toward Bill, desperate to know whether he is going to survive, yet doing so could raise questions she is not ready to answer. Every choice she makes from this point forward could bring her secret one step closer to being exposed. At the same time, Kat's emotional world remains increasingly unstable as the consequences of her impulsive decisions begin closing in around her. The condo was supposed to represent something hopeful, a place where she and Thomas could build a future together, but instead it has become a symbol of everything they still do not fully understand about one another. Kat moved quickly because she wanted to prove something, perhaps to Thomas, perhaps to herself, and Nicole's concerns may force her to confront the possibility that guilt played a much larger role than she wants to admit. Saying no to Thomas's proposal was a major emotional moment, and buying a condo almost immediately afterward may have been Kat's attempt to show him that rejection did not mean she loved him any less. Yet Thomas's refusal to officially move in has left Kat facing another uncomfortable truth. Love cannot always be repaired or strengthened through grand gestures. Sometimes the deeper problems remain, no matter how beautiful the home or how sincere the intention behind the gift. Nicole's concern could therefore become another source of tension rather than the comfort Kat needs. A mother can often see what her child is unwilling to recognize, and Nicole may believe that Kat is making life-changing decisions while emotionally vulnerable. From Kat's perspective, however, those concerns could feel like criticism at exactly the wrong time, especially after Thomas failed to respond to the condo the way she had hoped. If Chelsea's idea has already put Kat on edge, Nicole questioning her motives could make her feel as though everyone around her is suddenly challenging her choices. That pressure may explain why Kat's behavior appears increasingly erratic to the people who love her. She is trying to hold together her romance, her business partnership, her friendships, and her own sense of certainty, but each new conversation seems to reveal another crack beneath the surface. The more people question her, the more determined she may become to defend decisions she has not fully understood herself. Chelsea's confrontation with Kat could become particularly painful because their connection goes far beyond an ordinary business partnership. They are cousins, best friends, and partners in the Chelsea Cat brand, meaning any disagreement between them carries both personal and professional consequences. Whatever idea Chelsea brings forward may seem perfectly reasonable from her perspective, yet Kat's current emotional state could cause her to hear something entirely different. A discussion about business could suddenly feel like a challenge to her authority, while a conversation about their living situation could touch directly on the uncertainty surrounding Thomas and the condo. Their history suggests that they will eventually find a way back to one another, as they have done after previous disagreements, but that does not mean the journey will be easy. Sometimes the people who know us best are also the ones capable of touching the deepest emotional wounds, even when they never intended to cause pain. And while Kat's world becomes increasingly complicated, Thomas remains caught in a difficult position of his own. His refusal to officially move into the condo was not necessarily a rejection of Kat or their relationship, but rather a reflection of his values and his desire to maintain his independence. He does not want the outside world to look at him and believe that he is benefiting from Kat's wealth, nor does he want their relationship to feel financially unequal. By agreeing to spend time at the condo and pay his own way, Tomas attempted to find a compromise that would allow him to remain close to Kat without sacrificing his pride. Yet emotional compromises rarely solve everything, especially when one person imagined a completely different future. Kat may understand his reasoning intellectually, but emotionally, the rejection could still hurt, leaving her wondering why the man she loves could not simply embrace the life she was trying to create for them. All of these personal conflicts unfold beneath the growing shadow of Bill's hospitalization, where the stakes are far more immediate and dangerous. A disagreement can eventually be repaired, a relationship can sometimes survive betrayal, and an impulsive decision can potentially be undone, but a medical crisis brings a different kind of fear. Once Bill is rushed through those hospital doors, the people who care about him may be forced to confront the possibility that they could lose him before they ever receive the answers they desperately need. His collapse may also create unexpected consequences for everyone carrying secrets connected to him. Danny's guilt, Hayley's scheme, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding Bill's deteriorating health could all begin moving toward the same explosive point. The hospital may become more than the setting for a medical emergency. It could become the place where carefully hidden truths begin to unravel. Hayley, in particular, may find herself standing dangerously close to exposure. If she expected the poison to work slowly and quietly, Bill's sudden collapse could bring far more attention than she ever intended. Doctors may order tests, loved ones may begin asking questions, and every unusual detail surrounding his condition could become another threat to the secret she has worked to protect. The success of her scheme may therefore become its greatest danger, because the worse Bill becomes, the harder it will be for everyone to ignore what is happening. She may have wanted control, but once a victim reaches the hospital, control can quickly disappear. Medical professionals, worried relatives, and unexpected discoveries could transform her carefully hidden plan into a ticking clock. By the time Monday's episode reaches its most dramatic moments, nearly every major storyline could be burning with unresolved tension. Kat will be surrounded by questions about her choices, Chelsea will be dealing with the fallout from their disagreement, and Nicole will continue wondering whether her daughter is rushing toward a future built on guilt rather than certainty. Tomas will remain caught between his love for Kat and his determination to preserve his independence, while Danny and Andre struggle to reconnect without Andre knowing the painful truth standing between them. And above everything else, Bill's condition could continue to deteriorate as the consequences of Hayley's poisoning scheme finally become impossible to ignore. What begins with arguments and emotional misunderstandings may end with fear, uncertainty, and the terrifying possibility that someone has gone too far. The Monday, July 13th episode of Beyond the Gates therefore promises far more than ordinary relationship drama. It brings together love, pride, guilt, betrayal, family concern, and a potentially deadly secret, allowing each storyline to feed into a larger atmosphere of uncertainty. Kat may believe she is fighting for the future she wants. Danny may believe she can continue hiding the truth from Andre, and Hayley may believe her poisoning scheme is still under control. But all three women could soon discover that consequences have a way of arriving when they are least expected. One impulsive decision can fracture a relationship, one hidden betrayal can destroy trust, and one carefully concealed crime can suddenly become impossible to hide. As Bill fights through a frightening medical crisis and everyone around him searches for answers, the walls protecting these secrets may finally begin to close in. And in Fairmont, Crest, where nothing stays buried forever, Monday could mark the beginning of an explosive chain reaction that changes everything.